From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon and welcome to your MTN Noon News for this Thursday. I'm Charlie Klepps. In continuing coverage, plans for a new state mental hospital in Billings have now been put on pause. Governor Greg Gianforte's office says the project isn't dead, but more information is needed before moving forward. The decision follows strong public pushback and other challenges, with reaction from local leaders and what comes next. Here's MTN's David J.
The voices of local political leaders have reached the governor's office. No longer is this piece of land on Skyway Drive going to be the site for a state mental health facility. The Board of Investments Executive Director Dan Villa made an announcement on Wednesday.
To avoid acting without clear direction, I recommend the board suspend any further consideration and forego further implementation of House Bill 5 until we receive written guidance.
The guidance the Board of Investments wants covers some of the city council's concerns. We had a chance to talk with some council members about putting the state mental hospital on hold or pause.
It's probably a smart idea, and to be able to have the legislature and the executive branch decide actually what this whole thing is going to look like.
Taking a pause, slowing the assessment down, getting a lot more community and stakeholder input is a really smart way to go. So I was very pleased to know that they listened, that they heard the concerns, and that they're willing to have slower, more thoughtful conversation.
State Senator Dennis Lenz tells Q2 that he is puzzled by this announcement since the state has used the same formula on other projects for 25 years.
It was in process, but we were not too far removed from the previous legislative session. And there's been a lot of work going on that. So that's kind of all at a pause.
Councilman Scott Aspenleiter says he likes how things have progressed.
Grateful to Mr. Villa for the way that he has handled this, and I'm grateful for him pumping the brakes until we can get a concrete plan in place coming out of DPHHS.
And State Senator Mike Yakowicz says the hospital still may be built in the area. Yakowicz says it's not dead for Montana, and from my view, not dead for Yellowstone County. But for now, it's on hold.
Everybody in Billings wanted it to be clearly see what it is. We're that close, and now we're on pause.
In Billings, David J., MTN News.
Meanwhile, Yellowstone County Commissioner Mark Morris has been front and center in the debate over this mental health facility. From the start, he's been one of the most vocal critics, saying there's no clear answers. After last night's meeting, Morris says he's relieved the state is hitting pause, believing more time is needed before any plans move forward.
And I think they need to come back and hold public hearings wherever that may be. Hopefully it's not in Billings.
The state has provided no timeline as to when they may be ready to move forward with a potential project.
Let's take a little trip around the state. Start with a live shot from Missoula, but you can see some of the haze out there at 74 degrees, sunshine, light wind. You're going to see the same thing repeat itself a little bit as we take a look regionally. Helena, likewise, seeing the 70s and a little bit of that haze around for today. Out towards Bozeman, the temperatures are very similar with a light wind. As we move into the eastern plains over towards Billings, we'll have some of that haze as well, but those temperatures still in the 70s, but stronger wind gusts. And finally, we'll end up over in Miles City, where we've had some clouds, showers, and isolated thunderstorms in the eastern plains today, but consistent temperatures, and that'll be our theme with the forecast coming up.
Now time for today's leading look as we follow the other headlines. The Havre community faced a wave of severe weather last night with damaging winds, heavy rainfall, and large hail. As you can see, torrential rain led to some flooding in town, with some viewers telling MTN that up to 1.5 inches of rain fell in under a half hour. Gusts up to 75 miles per hour were recorded at the Havre Airport, and at one point the wind was sustained at 59 miles per hour. A Wyoming man has now been indicted by Sublette County grand jury on animal cruelty charges. 43-year-old Cody Roberts was involved in this infamous incident, posing with a live wolf with its mouth taped shut. He was also seen kissing the snout of the young female wolf in the Green River Bar in Daniel. It's a situation that drew national outrage, originally resulting in a $250 fine from the Wyoming Fish and Game Department. In Gallatin County, a man charged with the murder of Stephen Kilwine 4 years ago made his initial appearance yesterday, pleading not guilty. 25-year-old Austin Klaus is the man charged in the long-time homicide investigation. On Sunday, June 13, 2021, Kilwine was murdered in his home in Bozeman. The case then went unsolved for 4 years until police arrested Klaus about a month ago after DNA obtained from Kilwine's pajama bottoms matched with Klaus's. Klaus's bail remains at $1 million, and he has a bail hearing set for August 28th. The Montana Department of Livestock has confirmed a case test for brucellosis in a Beaverhead County cattle herd. The bull tested positive in July and was euthanized for further testing. The herd is currently under quarantine pending further testing for source of the infection and potential spread. Brucellosis can cause cattle to abort, and the herd is within the Montana designated surveillance area. This is the 14th brucellosis infection since the surveillance area was created. The previous 13 were all confirmed to have been from infected elk. After an intense 2 hours yesterday in Uptown Butte, a man is now in custody following a SWAT situation. It's a story we brought you first on your Wednesday noon news. Butte Silverbow Sheriff Ed Lester says a 44-year-old man was suspected of being armed, suicidal, with children inside a residence at Clark and Park Streets. The children were able to leave the home, and neighboring residents were evacuated during the standoff. Neighbors told MTN News that the shooting in Anaconda 3 weeks ago heightened their concerns as officers were wearing full tactical gear so soon after. The sheriff says the man will undergo a mental evaluation and could face charges. We turn our eyes back to Anaconda this morning, where the heartbreak is still very fresh after a man walked into the Owl Bar, killing 4 people. One of those killed was bartender Nancy Kelly, and this morning MTN's Megan Thompson hears from her daughter, who's still coming to grips with the senseless tragedy.
It's been almost 3 weeks since 4 people were gunned down here at this bar in Anaconda. Now, the daughter of the bartender who lost her life shares her mother's story of being a social butterfly who had a long career of caregiving.
Oop, sorry, dude. It's incredibly painful. It's incredibly abrupt, and you know, just with everything going on in the world, it's a lot. It's a lot to manage.
Christian Kelly's mother, Nancy, was tending bar the morning that she and 3 other patrons were murdered on August 1st. Christian describes her mother as tough and caring, something she applied to her lifelong nursing career that began in the Butte Intensive Care Unit and ended in Anaconda as an oncology nurse before she retired and took up bartending at the Owl Bar 2 years ago. She says nursing was Nancy's calling.
That was what she was supposed to do in life. You know, she was great at it.
Nancy's patients came from all over southwest Montana to be treated in the Smelter City. Christian says she cared deeply for her patients.
They say you're not supposed to bring work home. You're not supposed to, you know, you leave it at the door. But I don't know that ever really happened. She brought people home with her, and she cared. She cared about all of them.
Nancy even cared for her husband, Don, who passed away in 2018 after a long battle with cancer.
She was his caregiver. You know, she's the one that gave him his chemo, and you just fight for your patients, and she fought for him, and yeah, it's been a lot.
Nancy is described as a social butterfly, outgoing and excited to participate in community activities.
I mean, she was always going here and there and you know, going to Wise River, going out and about, just very alive, very outgoing.
Call butterflies flutterbys.
Bartending was the perfect pastime for Nancy, who likely knew the alleged shooter, who lived next door to the bar. Michael Brown, the suspect in the shooting, was apprehended 1 week after a massive manhunt and is currently being held on a $2 million bond in the Butte jail.
You have someone that committed an atrocity, but also, is it a failure? You know, because it's not just a loss of 4 lives, it's a loss of 5. I mean, honestly. And I don't know how do you fix that?
A memorial service will be held for Nancy Kelly on September 4th at Holy Family Church. In Anaconda, Megan Thompson, MTN News.